I'm Ryan O'Doud, and you're listening to Ryan's Audiobooks on the Issues Magazine YouTube channel. Today we're picking up in section 17.2 from Sufi Meditation by Lex Hixon Nur Al-Jerrahi. The last previous sentence was, what happens when Abraham returns to his people? This is how it was revealed by Allah to the heart of his beloved Muhammad. Dervish Ahmed Munir reads, after returning from the wilderness to his people, the Prophet Abraham proclaimed, I have always been free from religious practices that exalt forces of nature. But now I have been brought face to face with the essence of Allah, the only reality, who alone radiates the broad expanse of earth and heaven. I have lost myself and found my prophethood in the truth that Allah alone exists. The people disputed bitterly with their prophet, threatening him with the wrath of the various etheric forces which they worshipped. Displaying the utter calm of illumination, Abraham replied, do you imagine that any threat or argument could turn me away from the ultimate source, when I am experiencing direct guidance from the source itself? I fear no powers in the universe, for I have always turned towards the source of power. Have you forgotten that the encompassing awareness of Allah manifests and harmonizes the entire creation? How could I fear the hatred of any being when I am receiving constant inner assurance from the source of love? You are the ones who should be apprehensive, my people, having elevated your own limited capacities and experiences to the level of divinity. They can offer you no ultimate support or refuge. Consider carefully which of us is receiving true protection. Only those who turn solely towards the source of love and do not obscure their being by the slightest negation of love are perfectly guided. My beloved Muhammad, such was the illuminated insight that the source of wisdom transmitted through the Prophet Abraham for the instruction of all humanity. The ever-present source alone draws hearts and minds to higher and higher levels of vision and understanding. Allah Most High is encompassing awareness and complete wisdom. Meditation on the Holy Quran 6:79-83. Sheikh Nur. Enlightenment is simply to enter higher and higher levels of spiritual understanding. This is one of the passages in Quran that confirm the mystical path, the evolutionary way. Islam is a path, not just 5 pillars, not just the basic beliefs and practices. Even the noble Abraham was taken by Allah through different levels of spiritual experience. The Prophet returned to the prophetic struggle, to warning and instructing his people. Prophecy is always rejected by people who are complacent, who wield power in society, and who have some phobia about the sacred, or who are rigidly attached to some religious form, worshipping the way they saw their mother and father worshipping, refusing to develop, to transform. The prophetic consciousness always struggles with the people lovingly. The people seldom treat the prophet lovingly. Enlightenment was transmitted by Allah to the Prophet Abraham for the instruction of all humanity. We are being instructed now by this revelation 14 centuries later in New York City. We are being inspired by what was revealed to Abraham. More than that, we are being called to follow the ascending path of Abraham's own contemplation. This is Sufi meditation. Visitor. After meditating on the sun from sunrise to sunset, why was he enlightened? Sheikh Nur. He was enlightened not by meditating on the sun, but by seeing the sun disappear, because he realized at that moment that no symbol, no image, not even any divine quality, can possibly be the reality that the essence is, that the source is, and he awakened as that reality. Visitor. Was he finding the inner sun? Sheikh Nur. This was not just an external star Abraham meditated on. This was the inner star, the inner moon, the inner sun. Yet the prophet discovered that there is a reality beyond even the inner sun. This is the source, the essence, to which all creation is returning, and which is the ultimate fulfillment of creation. Essence is not some blank, empty space. It is a supersaturated reality, as Plotinus would say. Are we not all profoundly honored to be with Abraham on his desert retreat, to go through the stages with him? You know how intriguing, how interesting it is to be made intimate and contemporary with the noble Abraham's retreat experience, to be called to share it with him. Abraham is the father of Jews, Christians, and Muslims. There were no Jews, Christians, or Muslims in the time of Abraham. The spiritually awakened people were simply called Hanifa, the upright ones, the true human beings. There was no organized religion. But I do not consider Judaism, Christianity, or Islam to be organized religions either. They are organic organisms that spontaneously evolve. Some people try to organize or control what is spiritually spontaneous. These controllers appear in every generation and cause a certain amount of havoc, but they cannot destroy the organic power of revelation, because these organic revelations are divine creations, like sun, moon, and stars. Mao Zedong tried to control the life of the Chinese people, but could he proclaim that the sun will not rise and the moon will not shine? Similarly, in Russia, an oppressive regime tried to destroy religion, to destroy the viewpoint of revelation, to destroy the prophetic spirit. They were unable to do that. Even 70 years of revolution in Russia could not do that. Gorbachev himself was baptized. His grandmother secretly got him baptized when he was an infant. Nothing can destroy organic religion. Mao Zedong and oppressive anti-religious Marxist regimes are actually a strange form of organized religion. Visitor. As Abraham meditated on the star and the moon and the sun, it filled his being with presence. So when he had to go into the unknown, there was no fear. There is usually tremendous fear going to a place so completely unknown. Only when the whole being is full of knowing that presence can one go into the unknown. Sheikh Nur. A beautiful way of putting it. Now, as astronauts, we are ready for a liftoff. Sheikha Fariha reads, Light. Calling itself Allah, the Supreme Source is the one light illuminating every heavenly and earthly realm. My beloved Muhammad, please transmit this profound meditation. The light of Allah is the window that opens beyond all creation. On the sill of this shining window rests the precious lamp of the human soul, whose flame is pure and ready, protected by the transparent crystal of the heart that glistens delicately like a star with the soul's light. This lamp, ignited by divine love alone, burns aromatic oil from the tree of life. That transcendent tree found nowhere on earth, neither in the east nor in the west. This fragrant oil of wisdom radiates illumination spontaneously, not needing to be touched by any earthly fire. Thus the light of the soul and the source of light behind it blend, merge, and reappear in the mystery of eternal companionship as the light of Allah within the light of Allah. Speaking thus to humanity through the most subtle figurative language, the source of wisdom guides to enlightenment, whomever it wills, for Allah is the one encompassing awareness. Meditation on Holy Quran 24:35. Sheikh Nur. Right here now, let's enter a mediation like the noble Abraham's meditation. We do not have to We do not have to retire literally into the desert. We do not have to look literally to the evening star, because the crystal that surrounds the soul, the heart, glistens like a star. The spiritual heart is the star we should contemplate, as Abraham did, with eyes open or closed, whichever we feel comfortable. Let's consider this Quranic meditation on light. Everyone who reads Quran is presented again and again with this very famous surah of light. We can be sure that Allah had us in mind, this particular room, these particular people, when this meditation was originally revealed, as well as all the others to whom this meditation will be presented until the end of cosmic experience, until the cessation of this planetary spaceship, until Allah brings physical creation to an end in some mysterious, unimaginable way. We often think we have no problem. We have another 50 million years of fuel in the sun. Quran never says that. Quran says that Allah can bring the universe to an end at any moment, perhaps during the night, when complacent persons are sound asleep. Being can be drawn back into the source of being at any moment. In our mystical order, we specialize in praying to Allah Most High to extend the universal earthly experience, so that more and more souls will enjoy this precious spiritual experience of earthly embodiment on habitable planets in all galaxies. This sacred earthly experience is really the highest spiritual evolutionary possibility. As I mentioned before, our Earth is not a prison planet. It is not some unrefined netherworld. When we engage in Sufi meditation, we should never feel that we are low or in a low place. Wherever we are is the most auspicious place. This mosque in New York City is just as good for Sufi meditation as the pristine desert where the noble Abraham made his retreat. This century is just as good as Abraham's century. The merciful, compassionate, the beautiful Allah, the Supreme Source, calls itself by these names and countless others. We do not feel that one divine name or another is required for Sufi meditation on the one light. Calling itself Allah, the Supreme Source is the one light illuminating every heavenly and earthly realm. It is not these electric lights that are illuminating this earthly realm right now, but the one light. There's no distinction in Islam between the so-called material realm and the spiritual realm. That division is a peculiar modern concept, actually. We isolate matter, we define it as something mechanical, and then we insist that it is different from mind or spirit. The one light illuminating every heavenly and earthly realm. This one light we are meditating on is right here now. Whether we close or open our eyes, it is here. The light of Allah is the window that opens beyond all creation. Finally, the noble Abraham's gaze went through that open window. At first he was seeing the arabesques, the shape of the window, reflections of divine majesty, beauty, power. This vast open window is the one light. Do not imagine this light in some psychedelic sense. Please do not engage in some fantasy that maybe the radiance in the room will start glowing brighter and brighter. This is not as what is meant by the one light, the window that opens beyond all creation. On the sill of this shining window sets the precious lamp of the human soul. We are right now at rest on the sill of that window. It is not some place far away. We should not think maybe we will get there someday. Our soul is an oil lamp, whose flame is pure and steady, resting on the sill of that magnificent window right now. Our minds may not be entirely pure and entirely steady, but put that aside. We are experiencing the soul now, not the mind. The soul's flame is pure and steady right now and eternally. It does not need any meditative technique. We do not need to steady the soul by breathing slowly or sitting up straight. We cannot do anything for the soul. The soul's light is pure and steady. We should at least know that, and perhaps we will experience it directly. Why not? It is our own true light. Why shouldn't we be able to experience it? This flame is protected by the transparent crystal in the heart that glistens delicately like a star with the soul's light. Go initially in the direction of the physical heart. Jewish and Islamic mystics and also Christian desert fathers and mothers used to meditate not like yogis with heads straight up, but with heads slightly bent, inclining down toward the left-hand side of the chest, gazing in the direction of the physical heart. That is only the direction. Obviously, we are meditating not on a certain physical organ that is pumping and giving life, but on a spiritual organ that is pulsing with light and giving spiritual life. We are meditating on the spiritual heart. If you feel it might help, incline your head downward to the left in the direction of the physical heart. Close your eyes and see the star. At first you will see a vast black space. And then maybe you will see a star like the evening star that the noble Abraham saw. That star is the spiritual heart, which is really like a transparent crystal surrounding the steady flame of the soul. The crystal is glistening as stars do. It is very dynamic. The soul's light is a steady flame, but extremely subtle and difficult to find. The heart's light is glistening. It is easy to find. We can pick it out on the vast sky of awareness. See that star, and then go through that star. After all, the star is just a crystal surrounding the soul's light. Go through that star as Abraham went through that star. Moon and sun, and enter the steady pure flame of the soul, the essential flame. This lamp, ignited by divine love alone. This lamp has been lighted according to Islam since before there was any universe in the first place. In Islam, souls are eternal in both directions. This lamp of the human soul was ignited before there was even angels, before there was even a divine throne. In pre-eternity, as Islam puts it, this lamp was ignited. But what was it ignited by? There was nothing to ignite it but divine love. This lamp, ignited by divine love alone, burns aromatic oil from the tree of life. This is why we put a little fragrant oil on your hands earlier this evening. There's an aromatic dimension to Sufi meditation. The soul's light has a perfume. Experience that also. Aromatic oil from the tree of life, that transcendent tree found nowhere on earth, neither in the east nor in the west. Let's not run to the east to study religion. Let's not run to the west to study science or religion. Let's not run any place in the world to study. This tree of life, which provides oil for the soul's lamp, is not found in the east or the west. This fragrant oil is not some material oil, not some cultural form. It is wisdom. The fragrant oil of wisdom radiates illumination spontaneously, not needing to be touched by any earthly fire. At this point, I think everyone has the meditation clearly in mind and heart. Please do not feel that you have to visualize all this as if it were a videotape. Just understand what is going on. This is a meditation of truly understanding the human being. This Quranic passage is describing every human being. It's not a meditation only for an elite group. It is every single human being on the planet. This meditation is actually going on, no matter how veiled these persons might be, how unhappy or confused they might feel. Sometimes each of us feels unhappy or confused, and we forget this spiritual fact, this one light which is our real nature. We do not need to begin Sufi meditation. It is always going on. Next comes the meditation proper. What has come before is the setting for the diamond. Thus the light of the soul and the source of light behind it blend. Our souls are not confined to a place, even an exalted place on the sill of this radiant window that opens beyond all creation. Our soul's light can actually blend with the source of light. Now feel that blending. The light of the soul and the source of light behind it blend and merge. Merging is one step further than blending. To merge means to experience identity with the ultimate source. Then the most wonderful thing to reappear. The light of the soul and the source of light behind it blend, merge, and reappear in the mystery of eternal companionship. This is not some nirvana situation where you blend, merge, and that's it. The ultimate evolution is that we reappear and manifest the mystery of eternal companionship, the companionship between soul and Lord, between bride and eternal bridegroom, lover and beloved in Sufi imagery. Blend, merge, and reappear in the mystery of eternal companionship as the light of Allah within the light of Allah. Our soul's light is no longer seen as some separate reality. It is the divine light. We are the play of the divine light within the divine light. It remains very important in Islamic mysticism that the uniqueness of the soul's light is never swallowed up in infinite light. Our unique light plays eternally in the play of divine companionship. This is not a mysticism of total reabsorption, like the raindrop reabsorbed into the ocean. Such is not Islamic mystical teaching. Sufi meditation is much more exalted than total absorption. Speaking thus to humanity through the most subtle figurative language. This sole scripture of Islam, this Holy Quran, is 14 centuries old. These words were received through inspiration by an Arabian man who was brilliant but not literate in the sense of extensive reading and writing. There were no universities in Arabia at the time, yet this certainly is the most subtle figurative language. I've never encountered any teaching more subtle than this. I am not saying that this scripture is the only one or the best one. I am just saying that we have to recognize its subtlety. We have to stand in awe of this Quranic meditation. No sacred tradition gets any subtler than this. Speaking thus to humanity, this wonderful divine speaking is for us here and now. Speaking thus to humanity through the most subtle figurative language, the source of wisdom guides to enlightenment whomever it wills, for Allah is the one encompassing awareness. We might be tempted to say, let's sit quietly for 20 minutes and meditate on this. But I do not think that would be real Sufi meditation. Why? Because that would imply we can get close to our soul's light while we are quiet for 20 minutes or 1 hour, and the rest of the time we are far from it or barely conscious of it. Most people think we are handling practical affairs and really don't have time for meditation. The Sufis do not accept that. This awareness of the one light, this one encompassing awareness, can be perpetual in one's life, even in conjunction with all the sorrows and efforts we go through. That is why I will not say, sit for 20 minutes and meditate. That would subtly enforce a sense of separation between meditation and living itself. Of course, it will be helpful sometimes to make a retreat or to recall this meditation when one is in solitude. After all, if the Prophet Abraham went into retreat, I think all of us, including myself, have never understood this spiritual situation so clearly. I'm not giving a lecture. I am not an old college professor whose lecture notes are yellow with age. This is not an address that I've given for the last 20 years to the freshman class. I have never presented Sufi meditation this way before. It has never been so clear to me. This is because of the goodness and the intensity of the people who are here. It is you that brought it through. Let's not make a distinction between outside and inside. Let's not say we have to go inside. We don't, because two of the principal 99 divine names are the outer and the inner. Divine reality is everywhere you look. Close your eyes or open your eyes. It doesn't make any essential difference. It may make a difference to some people, but only as a question of temperament. Dervish Medina. You were saying that the light of the soul and the light of essence merge and then reemerge. In the state of eternity, is there still companionship? Sheikh Nur. Yes, reality is a play of companionship. Medina is really asking about the essence of Sufism here. This eternal companionship, this divine play. Strange and wonderful things can happen in this play. For example, our Sheikh used to say that the greatest lovers of Allah, ones who are most intimate with divine reality, who have been consciously established in this eternal companionship, refuse to enter paradise until all other beings enter paradise. They bring pressure on God. They do amazing things. We sing in one of our mystic hymns. The holy friends are past description. Their ways are manifold. Part of the play is that every soul is unique. There is nothing mechanical or repetitive about the nature, about the infinite divine creativity. Each of Allah's creations is unique. Each moment of creation is unique. Imagine the play that is going on between countless souls and their Lord, all of them unique, none of them separate. Our Sheikh used to say that a single tear from a saint of love can put out the fires of hell. Not that Allah is interested in perpetuating hellfire, but there is no way He can permit the fires of hell to burn, because His playful companions are continuously weeping out of love and putting out the fires of negativity as they spring forth again and again. I refer to this as the mystery of eternal companionship. It really is a mystery. You will find this mystery in the lives of saints and sages from all sacred traditions. This unique play, this unique interaction, which is not described in any textbook on religion, and which is never happening the way it is supposed to happen. In Russian Orthodox Christianity, there are fools for Christ, special beings who appear to be mad on the surface, but who are engaged in an inner play with the divine. Their madness is just a cloak or veil for great inner sanctity. We do not have to be saints or mystics. We can just be ordinary people that we are, yet our lives are secretly engaged in this divine play. Sometimes the play resembles hide and seek. Allah is successfully hiding from the many modern people, but that is also part of the play. If Allah wanted to reveal Himself and make modern humanity suddenly devout, it is perfectly possible for Him. But He wills to play hide and seek. It is the lover's play with the beloved. Allah is love itself. Who could be more subtle lover than love itself? A prominent Quranic name for divine reality is the all-subtle in Arabic, Latif. What could be more exalted than to play with a reality that is infinitely subtle? Some people imagine that eternity might be boring. They say, I can deal with time because things change. We imagine eternity in various childish ways, like staring endlessly at the divine throne. We should not rely on our imagination, but seek guidance from revelation. Because of this play of the eternal companionship, eternity is dynamic. Paradise is described by the Holy Quran. These are symbolic descriptions, yet they are spiritually valid, not as sitting around and gazing at the divine throne or at God, in rapt, beatific trance. Paradise is a huge fiesta, a banquet where lovers are facing each other, sitting at a long banquet tables filled with the food and drink of wisdom and love. Quran reveals that the souls in paradise are answering each other's most burning questions with the divine wisdom itself. The divine playmate is manifesting right through each soul in paradise. There, our play with the divine becomes our play with other souls. Anything that can be experienced in paradise can also be experienced here on earth, which is simply the reflection of paradise in the mirror of the heart, clear or distorted, depending upon purity of heart. Our love play with another human being on earth can become love play with the divine. Thus concludes section 17.2 of Sufi Meditation by Lex Hixon Nur Al-Jerrahi. I will finish up next time with section 17.3. I will see you then. Allah.